Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. Very excited to be bringing you my first Power of the Primes review. As you guys know, probably most of you already know, the Transformers Generations line has had kind of a subtitle the last couple years. We had Combiner Wars, we had Titans Return, and now third in that trilogy is Power of the Primes. And it's kind of a cool line because it's going to incorporate aspects of the previous lines. You're going to have some Combiner Wars type figures, you're going to have some Titan Master type figures, even the Prime Masters, which is what I believe they're calling the smallest size class. They're working kind of like the original Power Masters from the G1 line, where they're going to plug in different places and give people some power-ups and stuff like that. It's going to be pretty neat. I'm very excited. It's a very fun line. It's just bringing in the last couple years all together for one like ultimate amazing toy line, and I'm very excited. But as you can see here, we have Dinobot Slug. He is the Triceratops. The original G1 character was called Slug, but apparently, especially in the European markets, that's kind of a bad word now. So they've decided to officially rename him as Dinobot Slug. So there he is. He is a deluxe class figure. Love this packaging. It's kind of similar to the Titans Return packaging and the Combiner Wars packaging we had previously. Had that black stripe down the side. Very cool artwork of the Triceratops mode there. Like that a lot. These guys, I believe for the first time ever, there have been third-party figures and whatnot, but I think for the first time you're going to get a 5-part Dinobot Combiner team direct from Hasbro. So there's a picture of that little preview there on the side. Very excited for that. Going to be very, very cool. So here's the packaging. You can see up here it says, how will the hot-headed Dinobot warrior wield the power of the primes? So that's going to be, you know, obviously the theme for this line. The Prime Masters over here. So very, very cool. I like this packaging. Obviously it's very similar to what we've had recently, but pretty cool. Let's go ahead and get him out of the packaging and take a closer look. Alrighty, so here is Slug out of the packaging. You get, obviously, the figure itself. You get this interesting piece, which I'll describe in a moment. You get the little gun. And then you get this little collectible card, kind of what we've seen similarly. This one has this green border with this symbol. It says Dinobot Slug. If you come around to the back, you can see there's kind of like a wheel of symbols, and he's got green, and it says Liege Maximo Slug. From what I've been looking at the packaging, each Prime Master, and I think I saw something about the lore where it said like it's the original Council of Primes now made into Prime Masters or something. So I'm guessing one of them will have this symbol, and maybe they're telling you that's like the best one to link up with Slug. I'm not sure. It says, can goad anyone into a fight. And then has that in a couple different languages. So I'm sure more of that will come out as more of these toys come out, but I'm assuming one of the Prime Masters has this symbol and maybe even that coloring. So that might be an aspect later on. I'm going to put that off to the side though. Either way, it's a nice card. Fun little collectible thing to toss in there. So you have this standard blaster, just kind of a little gun there. Some nice detailing molded in. Obviously it's all black. Can fit into his hand pretty easily. There you go right there. And then you have this piece. This is kind of like the Prime Port slash Combiner Wars hand and fist thing. You can kind of see underneath here, if we pop out, and it's a little difficult, you can get your nail in here. There's little tabs on the side there. You can see that's kind of like hands, and then you can bring this piece up and bring this down, and then I assume this would be like he has 2 thumbs, which is kind of weird. Or maybe you can fold one of these in. No, it doesn't really look like it. So I guess he just has two thumbs. But when you would connect it, it would look normal because the other one would cover. So then this would be like if he needed to be a hand or an arm for the combined mode. And then I'm assuming if you're going to put him into the foot mode, you would tuck this back under. And then maybe, I don't know, something like this would be the foot. Or I guess if you really wanted, you could bring these around and just kind of put it straight out like that and have that be the front of the foot. So it's like his toes. Probably up to you. Either one's probably fine. The other thing you can do is take this, and you can see the peg right there. And that can peg in here to his chest. You see the big hole there in the front. And that's supposed to be like his way to use the Power Masters, or I'm going to keep calling them Power Masters, I apologize, but Prime Masters. So this little plastic piece in here actually comes out. This is just like a placeholder. Unfortunately, the Deluxe class does not come with Prime Masters. They just have a spot for you to put the Prime Master in. I'm just going to use a Titan Master for now, because as far as I know, they're very similar. And you can see that they just kind of plug in. So it'll be something like that. Obviously, it won't be a head. It'll be like a weird symbol or something, as we saw when we looked at the back of the card. But that's how it's going to work. And you can even see deep in there, there's a little slot, and that's for that tab on the back of the feet, so that it plugs in pretty snugly. I mean, you can use Titan Masters for now if you want. If you want a weird little head coming out of his chest, you can certainly do that. It is compatible. But they give you that little plastic piece just to cover up the hole for right now until you get one. Prime Master. And you can see the big peg hole right there on his chest. That's where that pops in very simply. So, but taking a look at Slug here, I like this robot mode a lot. I was looking at it and I felt like something was missing, something was off, and then I remembered the original G1, these sections opened up and he had wings on the back. Like, you know, this piece right here would like, it almost looks like there is a hinge there, but there's not. It just kind of looks like it. You can tell from here it's a solid piece. But yeah, that used to open up on the original G1 figure. And I don't miss it terribly, but it just takes a little bit getting used to, because I feel like, you know, Slug is missing something, and then it finally clicked. Yeah, that's what it was. But I still like it. They had to take some liberties, obviously, because this guy does have a arm transformation and a foot/leg transformation, because he is going to be a Combiner Wars with the other Dinobots, or a Combiner team, whatever term you want to use. So I understand they had to take some liberties. I'm not going to show off the foot and arm transformations. I'll do that when I get into the combination. After I have all 5, I might do a separate video and show you how the transformation goes together. I'm not sure when the rest of these are going to pop up in stores. The Deluxe class is all I've been able to find so far. But there's going to be a smaller price class, or price point, size class, whatever term you want to use. I'm mixing terms there. But whereas we got the Titan Master size class this year, it's going to be a Prime Master size class for this line. And then, of course, Legends, Deluxe, Voyager, and Leader as per usual. So, but yeah, very cool. I love the head sculpt. I think they did a great job. Definitely reminds me of G1 Slug. You can move that head from side to side. It's just kind of hard to do because it's sat back in there. But it can rotate from side to side. You have a ball joint here in the shoulder. You have a bicep swivel. You have a really tight ratchet in the elbow, which is nice. Nothing for the wrists. They just kind of fold back. That's for the transformation. You have a waist swivel here, as you can see. Ball joint in the hip. Then you have a thigh swivel. You have pretty much 90 degrees in the knee, and then the foot's one solid piece, and that's where most of the tail and everything is kind of hidden. But I think they did a nice job packing it up. Not really a lot of dinosaur kibble on this, which I appreciate. These move slightly. It took me a little bit. They came really stiff in the packaging, and I had to kind of move them until like you could hear like a little snap, like maybe the paint was sticking them or something, but now they move perfectly well. So I like to have like a splayed out look when he's in robot mode. I like to put him off to the side. That's just my personal preference. If you want to push them closer together, you can. That's just what I like to do. But I love the Autobot symbol here on the chest. That looks pretty good. Not a ton of paint apps. It's mostly, you know, just molded plastic. But I think it all works. Red on the chest looks great. Like I said, love that head sculpt. Love the Autobot symbol. The gold down here is nice. I believe these are stickers. Right there and right there, but they look good. Came pre-applied. I did not have to do that myself. This is all paint up here. So very cool. I like this robot mode a lot, and I'm very excited for this line. And you get this little piece that you can jam onto the front, so you can power up armor or something like that. So pretty cool. I think it's neat. I like this a lot. But let's go ahead and get into the transformation. So the transformation is actually pretty straightforward, fairly simple. The first thing you're going to do is obviously this is going to become the lower jaw for the dinosaur, so that's going to fold up and hide the face. And there you can see the combiner port right there hidden pretty smartly in his chest. I have to say they did a pretty good job of hiding that. Next you're going to come here and just literally rotate the fists back up into the dinosaur foot just like that. Very simple. And then you pretty much have the entire front half of the dinosaur. So there you go. Next, you're going to come here and you're going to kind of lift this gray dinosaur foot just away from the body a little bit and then swing it down. And that's because there's a little tab right there. It's very minimal. And that just kind of sits in that little spot there just so it doesn't flop around in robot mode, which I appreciate. It's very nice. Lift this out and then bring it down. You're going to do kind of a similar thing with the dinosaur tail here. Kind of lift this away a little bit and bring it up. And then you can see it's going to swivel right there just to get that off to the side. So do that same thing with the other one. And then what you can do is you can see in here there's these two pieces that are used kind of like heels for the robot mode. You're going to want to push them and they'll kind of move this around too, but you want to hold this in place and push these pieces back so that they're all the way in the back. So you can see, hold this piece and then push that all the way down. And you can push that all the way down and then move this back into position if you need to. So pretty simple there. Then you're going to sandwich the legs together. And you can see how that works. Move this stuff off to the side. And then, you know, pretty typical, just bend these at the hinge. And then these two tabs right here and here are going to fit into that spot there and there. And it's kind of tight. You want to make sure they're definitely sandwiched together and you want to do them together. Bring it down. And then it'll, see, because if they come apart, then they don't want to stay in, I've noticed, at least on mine. So you got to really make sure they're together and that they come down at the same time. And then get that to click. And it clicks in pretty tight. So that's not going anywhere. And then at this point, you're just going to bring these back around. And you can see there's a little tab. And that's just going to fit into that spot. And then you can put the tail together. And there you go. You pretty much have your entire dino mode. You can just kind of move the leg around how you like. Pretty much you're going to want to bend the dinosaur foot. Not that much. Whoops. Not that much. Just kind of move it around and get it how you like. And position the legs to your liking. And there you go. You have Slug's Triceratops mode. I think it's pretty good. It just feels a little compressed. And again, I understand why. He's a deluxe class figure. He also has to have a arm and leg transformation. I kind of wish the crest here around the side was just a little bit bigger. It feels a little too smooshed and close to the body. Again, I understand why, but it just feels a little smooshed. I wish that was just a little bit bigger. Now that I'm able to move the horns, I like them off to the side a little bit, but I kind of also wish they were up a little bit. And I guess you could just bend them to your preference, and over time they'd probably stay. I like them up a little bit. They seem kind of pushed down. But really nice face. I like the gold there for the Triceratops. I like the eyes. I really like that Autobot symbol there painted on the top. Get a little bit closer here. So yeah, I think they did a good job. The mouth can open, obviously. But because of the way the hinge is, you can kind of do that. Or else you kind of have to... It'll click into place and kind of be like all the way down there, which is too much. So you kind of just have it open a little bit. But it's not bad. I really do like it. It's a pretty fun little Triceratops mode. You can bring this piece back in. And you can see a big peg hole right on top. So you can peg this back on top if you like. I think that looks kind of ridiculous, but that's just me. There are also... You can see peg holes on the side there. So if you wanted to peg anything into the side, you could certainly do that as well. That kind of looks weird to me, but they're also over here on the side, and you could do that. And I don't think that looks that bad. I still think this thing looks kind of goofy. But you could put this on the side, and then something I literally just thought of this minute. What if I take this goofy plastic piece out, put this back on top, bring in my Titan Master. Oh, and I'm going to zoom back out so you can see this, because we got a Dino Rider situation going on here, guys. Anyone else remember Dino Riders from the 80s? Just a guy in a little harness with some guns on the side, riding dinosaurs around, fighting each other. There you go. That's Dino Riders. So yeah, so there's definitely fun to be had here. I think it's pretty fun. I like the accessories. I'm definitely excited to get the rest of the Dinobots so I can check out the combined mode, because that's going to be really cool, finally getting a 5-person or 5-member Dinobot combiner team is something people have wanted since the 80s, so that's going to be really, really cool. The Power of the Prime gimmick I think is fun. I think this piece is kind of cool, the way it works as armor in both modes. It can also be a foot or a hand. I think that's pretty cool. I'm just excited to actually get some official Power Masters so I can give them a try there. But yeah, overall, simple transformation, but it's satisfying and pretty cool little Triceratops mode when you're done. So I think this guy is a lot of fun. Definitely an excellent first entry for me into the Power of the Primes line. Very excited for the future of this line. There's a lot of good things coming. I know I have 4 Deluxes right now that I'll be reviewing for you guys over the next couple days. There's also, I think, 3 in the Legends for Wave 1. I think there's 4 or 5 in the Titans Master, or I apologize, Prime Master size class for Wave 1. There's 2 Voyagers. I think there's 2 Leaders. So there's a lot of fun on the horizon, and I'm definitely going to be hunting down the rest of these, and I hope to have the entire first wave before Christmas to show you guys, because it just seems like a lot of fun. I mean, Titans Return was a blast. I've always loved the Headmaster gimmick since I was a kid. Back in the 80s when it first debuted, I loved Target Masters, Power Masters, Pretenders, all that kind of stuff that kind of came out towards the end of the original run of Transformers in the 80s and early 90s. I was a big fan of that stuff because that's kind of when I got into it. I was a little bit late to the game, being born in 83. So that's the kind of stuff that resonated with me the most. And I had an absolute blast watching Hasbro and Takara bring that back in the Titans Return line, and it looks like we're just going to be getting even more of this kind of stuff in the Power of the Primes line, and I'm super psyched. So I think Slug is great. If you can find him, track him down, get him. This line's going to be a lot of fun, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please like and share this video and subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you guys have enjoyed this look at Deluxe Class Autobot Slug from Transformers Power of the Primes, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching.